Hello everyone and welcome to the Offensive Security Certified Professional course, also known as the OSCP. My name is Heath Adams and I'm going to be your instructor throughout this course. A little bit about myself. I am currently a senior network engineer at a national lab here in the United States. I received my bachelor's in accounting and my master's in computer information systems, so I didn't always have an IT background. And if you're not coming for an IT background into this course, that's okay. You just need a little bit of a development background, and we'll talk here about the prerequisites in a minute. But don't be afraid to take this course on if you don't have a huge development background or huge IT background. I was not in IT for a long time, and I switched over and I've managed to make my way into cybersecurity, so you can absolutely do the same thing. I am also an Army officer in the Army Reserves. I've been in the Army about 4 years now. If you are a veteran or you're currently serving, thank you for your service. These are some of the certifications I have here. Most importantly, I have the OSCP, so that allows me to teach this course. And if you ever need to contact me, this is my personal LinkedIn. If you need to shoot me an email, you have questions about the course, this is probably the best place to contact me. If you want to connect with me, that is fine as well. I'm open to any and all feedback throughout this course, so if you find something in a video that's incorrect or that you didn't like, please reach out to me and let me know. I'm always wanting to improve myself and my course. And also, as I said, if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. I'm pretty responsive, so anytime you need anything, that is my LinkedIn. So in terms of the OSCP, what is the OSCP? So the OSCP is an advanced penetration testing course. If you've taken the CEH, the Certified Ethical Hacker, it's a step above that. So the real differences between those, while I think the CEH is okay, I think the OSCP coursework is better, and it gives you a real-world experience. So you're given a lab environment, and in that lab environment, you have 50 or 60 different boxes that you get to attempt to hack, and all of the boxes are vulnerable. So that makes it really fun throughout the whole course. So you're given a instruction manual, you're giving a course guide. So you're given about 350 pages of material at this time where you have to go through, and it's basically just like a college course. You've got different questions you have to answer, and you have to compile kind of a report throughout the whole course. And then you go into your lab environment when you're ready. So from day one, you can start in your lab environment, and you can just start attacking boxes. And your goal is to hack as many boxes as you can before the OSCP exam, before you take it. And that brings me into the exam. So the exam is a real-world exam. It's 24 hours long, and you're given 5 machines that you need to hack into. So you need to get 70 points on the exam in order to pass out of 100. And there are different varying points for each box. So there are 2 25-point boxes, there's a 10-point box, and 2 20-point boxes. And one of the 25-point boxes is going to be a buffer overflow box where you have to develop your own code in order to break into a machine. So what does that all mean? It means that this course is going to be difficult but rewarding. So you'll notice when you go through the real OSCP course that a lot of the material is vague, and it's intentionally vague because they want you to go out and research on your own, because a lot of computer hacking and a lot of penetration testing is doing the research on your own. So it's important to know that you're going to struggle throughout the course unless you're just a superhuman when it comes to computer hacking already. But when you finish, you're going to feel really rewarded. So some of the prerequisites for this course are a knowledge of scripting languages, preferably Bash and Python. We're going to touch on Bash a little bit, and we're going to use Python pretty heavily throughout the course, but I'm not going to really dive into it. It's something that I expect you to know already. You don't need more than a basic knowledge, I would say, intermediate knowledge at most of Python. You just need to understand how to read it. You don't necessarily know how to develop in it. And there are courses here at INE that will teach you that. There are courses out there and books out there elsewhere as well that will teach you that. So if you are coming into this course without any kind of development background, then you might want to reconsider. But I welcome you to try the challenge anyway. I came in with very little background when I started the OSCP, and I learned Bash and Python kind of as I went. I did take a mini Python course before I started, and it did help, but by no means was I able to develop anytime during the OSCP. That just kind of comes with lots and lots of practice. So being able to read code is really the most important thing. And a basic understanding of network concepts. Nothing too complex here, just TCP, IP type stuff, UDP ports, and just know what an IP address is, know what a subnet is, and you're going to use a lot of that, but outside of that, you don't really need to know how packets flow or anything else. I'll teach you a lot of that in the course. And also a basic understanding of Linux. So we are in Linux the entire time in this course. We may attack some Windows machines, but for the most part, all of our commands are going to be run from Linux. And finally, a try harder attitude. So similar to the OSCP course, you're going to have to kind of figure some things out for yourself in this course. I just wanted to give you a feel for that. It's not going to be very often, but there is a section in here where I did put a little try harder in for you. That way you just kind of get used to doing your own research on your own. And that's going to become true, especially in the capstone section of this course, where you have to hack into boxes on your own, and then we'll cover them in a walkthrough. So it's really going to challenge you, but just remember to try harder and push through. And before we continue on into the modules that we're going to cover in this course, I did want to briefly talk about what this course is compared to the OSCP. So this course is not the OSCP course. If you take this course, you cannot take the OSCP exam. So you will have to subscribe and register for PWK, which is Penetration Testing with Kali Linux. You take that course, and then you're able to take the OSCP exam with it. So when you purchase the PWK course, you have to purchase in 30, 60, or 90 days. I recommend at least 60 days, but preferably 90 days. And that will allow you to really get comfortable and do the labs. So the labs are included with the course, and the OSCP voucher is included with the course as well. So something to consider, and we'll talk about that in the conclusion of the course. I'll give you my strategy for the exam, I'll give you my strategy for taking the course, and we'll kind of go more into that. So when we're in this course, think of it as a preparation for the real OSCP, because taking this does not change anything, but taking this course will help you significantly when it comes time to getting in the OSCP. You'll have a head start and a leg up, and that really is important because when you start your course, your lab time starts at the same time. So you're given a bunch of materials to go over, and 300 and something pages may take somebody a month to go through, and then you're really left with lab time after that month. You're not really in the labs until you're done with your coursework. So think about it in terms of prepping yourself and getting more bang for your buck. The more time you have in the labs, the more experience you're going to get. You're not going to get a ton of experience just doing the PWK course on its own. So moving on, let's talk about some of the modules, what we're going to cover. So we're going to cover an introduction to Kali Linux. I'm going to show you how to install it, and we'll kind of go over some of the basic syntax that we're going to see. You'll have a Linux command line refresher, so in case you're a little rusty on your Linux, we do cover that. And then we'll start going logically through the 5 steps of hacking. So information gathering or reconnaissance, and then we'll do scanning and enumeration. Then we'll do exploitation, right? And finally, we'll go into post-exploitation, and we'll do into covering our tracks a little bit. So those are kind of common. If you've ever taken the CEH, you'll recognize those pretty immediately. So we'll also cover scanning and enumeration. We'll cover Netcat very briefly. We're going to use Netcat throughout the course, so I'll give you a little introduction on the different types of shells that we're going to use with Netcat. And this is we're going to use for connecting to ports and opening ports on our machine. We're also going to cover buffer overflows. I feel like this is the most important part of our course because it really teaches us how to develop code at a lower level. And it's important because it also is used on the exam. So when it comes to the exam, we're going to have to make our own buffer overflow, and it's worth 25 points. And that really freaks a lot of people out that you have to develop your own code. But once you run through the buffer overflow a few times, it's really not that bad, and it's really a free 25 points on the exam. It's something you can get done in an hour, and then you have 4 machines left and about 23 hours left to pass the exam. I think it's awesome. And once you learn it, you're going to have a complete respect for the assembly level of things. So we'll talk about that pretty in detail, and you'll get good experience in this course with it. After that, we'll move on to exploitation. So once you kind of understand how some things are working at a lower level, then we're going to move into exploitation and work on hacking into machines. That includes web app exploitation. And once we're in the machine, we'll talk about how to transfer files and how to escalate privileges in case we don't get root when we first access the machine. And then we'll talk a little bit about post-exploitation. So how are we going to extract files? What information can we find on the machine? Can we pivot from the machine to another machine? So there's lots of things in post-exploitation that are useful. And then finally, we'll have the capstone and conclusion of our course. So the capstone, like I said earlier, is going to be 5 videos, and we're going to cover 5 different machines and attempt to hack into them. So I'll give you the 5 machines, I'll let you go at it, and then we'll have the walkthrough of those machines. And it should be pretty fun. It should be a good intro to what the OSCP is going to be like. And so my final thoughts are have fun. This course is going to be great, especially when you get through it and you're like, hey, I can hack into machines. I know some things. It's awesome. And then once you get through the OSCP and you are OSCP certified, you're going to feel so much better. You're going to have a good foundation, a working knowledge of cybersecurity and how to hack into machines. And even if you don't move on into red teaming, maybe you're just doing it for overall knowledge of cybersecurity, or maybe you're a blue team person and you want to learn how to defend based on how people are attacking offensively. That's all fine. Just make sure that if you get down and you're having a bad day, just remember that in the long run, this is so rewarding. So have as much fun as you can throughout this course and as much fun as you can throughout the OSCP. It's going to go by really fast. And you're gonna be through with the course and through with your lab time, and you're not gonna know what to do with yourself because you're so invested in this course. And finally, you're gonna have to try harder. So the course, it's intense, as I've said, and another thing that really gets people is there's a lot of hours that you have to put into this course. When I was going through it, I finished in around 45 days. I did sign up for the full 90 days. But I spent, I say, somewhere around 200 hours and 45 days just working on this. And it was not easy. My relationship suffered a little bit. It's something that you have to go into. And if you have a significant other, you have to kind of tell them beforehand, say, hey, look, this is going to take me some time. But once I'm through with it, it's going to be awesome. There's going to be job opportunities. I'm going to have more knowledge about cybersecurity. So many doors open for you. So I remember the first week that I put my OSCP on my LinkedIn, I probably got 10 different job offers, and they are nonstop. So people are always looking for penetration testing and looking for ethical hackers. It's just a really good certification to have. But in order to do that, you do have to try hard and you do have to put in the work. So if you're not self-dedicated, you really have to think about taking this course. But if you are self-dedicated and you can push through it and you have that perseverance, this is the course for you, and it's going to be awesome. So that's it for now. I hope to see you throughout the rest of the course, and I hope to enjoy it with you. So thank you for learning with me. My name is Heath Adams, and until next time, catch you later.